Alright, so I just had to share about this Shunammite woman because this was my reading for today. And the truth is, this is actually my reading for yesterday, and I didn't get to it, but I am just so blown away by it. And so, and it's really the story of Elisha and the Shunammite woman. And so this is in 2 Kings chapter 2 and in chapter 4. And there's just some correlations that I think are beautiful, and I will share my blog so that if you're more of a person who likes to read, because that's what I am, you can go back through everything that I'm saying and like check it with the scriptures. But I'm going to start with 2 Kings 4, and it tells the story of the Shunammite woman, and it says that she was a prominent woman, but she has no name. So the story goes is that Elisha comes through their town, and she always persuades him to come and eat food with them. And he does it so often that she's eventually tells her husband, she's like, hey, we should really create a room for him so that he has a place when he comes. And if I could do that, I would love that. The place is always open, people. But so we do know that she's married. And so her husband agreed. The next time Elisha comes by, they give him that room, and he's like, man, how can I repay you for your care and your kindness for me? And she's just like, look, I'm taken care of. I got my people. I'm good. But Elisha's servant says to him, hey, like, she has no son, and her husband's really old. So first off, Gehazi, did nobody ask you? He asked the Shunammite woman, but he still speaks up. And what I think is interesting about this is those are both true. But the Shunammite woman is not the one who says it. That is my Bible blowing in the wind. But Elisha tells her, hey, this season next year, you will have a son. And she is essentially like, bro, don't lie to me. Like, don't play with my emotions. And he's not. Of course, she conceives, has a son next year, and that son, though, gets sick and dies. And so the boy tells his dad, and his dad is like, go see your mama. Well, in his mama's arms, he dies, and she asks, like, hey, I need to go see the man of God now. Will you give me a donkey and whatnot? And so her husband is like, yeah, but why you need it? Like, it's not a new moon or a new Sabbath, meaning you don't need to go and make any sacrifice or offering. So, and she just says, hey, it's well, just, let me get what I need. But we know it is not well. Her only son has just died. It is not well. But she says that it is well. And so he gives it to her. She goes off to see Elisha. And Elisha sees her from afar, tells his servant, like, hey, go meet her. Ask her if it's well with her husband, her house, her son, and all the things. And she says, it is well. Again, your son just died. It is not well. So she gets past him and gets to Elisha, falls down on his feet, and Elisha realizes, man, her soul is so troubled, and the Lord has not even told me why. So he sends his servant to go check on her house, see what's going on. He comes back, tells him, hey, her son is dead. And in the midst of that, the Shunammite woman says, like, hey, as surely as the Lord lives, I will not leave or depart from you. Which, crazy repetition, because in 2 Kings 2, Elisha says the same thing to Elijah when he knows that he's about to be taken up by the Lord. He's like, look, I'm not leaving you. All the meanwhile, the sons of the prophets keep coming to him, and they're like, hey, Elijah's like going to be taken up from you today. And he's like, I know, be still. Essentially, he's like, I know, be quiet. For some of you cutthroat people, he's like, I know, shut. You can finish that for me. But exact same words are used here, which is so interesting. So he can relate to her. He can relate to having a desire, knowing a devastated situation. But in the same way that Elisha doesn't entertain the conversation with the sons of the prophets, the Shunammite woman does not entertain a conversation with her husband. She does not entertain a conversation with Elisha's servant. She only converses with Elisha. the man of God, and the man of God symbolizes God. And so this passage for me, like I've probably been sitting here for like 2 hours, just meditating over it, writing over it, and just this passage is so good because it just shows me how some of our deepest longings, deepest desires, like really things of our soul, don't need to be spoken about to anyone but God. And the people whom it needs to be spoken about to, God will reveal it to them in one way or another, because those are the people he wants to know. So like Elisha doesn't tell him how he feels about Elijah being taken up. And the Shunammite woman does not initially tell Elisha how she does not have a son. And we can just tell from the way she responded that this is something she may have given up on, something she may have felt was never going to happen. And she had just, it seems as if she had come to a place where she was like, I'm content in the life that I have right now. And so you bringing this to me, you saying this to be true, like, I don't even know how to take it, because I let go of it. I was okay without it. And now I'm reminded of it. Or it could have even been like, hey, like, I've shared enough about it, it hasn't happened. Or it could just be like, only God is able to move in this. And so I have no need to share with anybody else. God is the only one who can do something about this. And so when this is fulfilled and he dies, it's almost as if like, I would have been better off in the contentness I was before you gave me this. And so, of course, if you don't know it, if you read through it, he is healed. Elisha does bring him back to life. But what I learned from this is the significance of how we say things to people, how we respond to people, how we answer people, and how we share things that we're going through. First, we just don't have to share everything. Don't have to share everything with everybody, and we don't even have to share things when it is asked of us. We can answer in such a way that we answer without answering. That's what I think is so beautiful. It's answer without answering. When Elisha asked the Shunammite woman what he could do for her, she doesn't say you can't do anything for me. She just says, hey, like, I'm content, I'm taken care of. But it is God who has the power to answer our prayers. It is God who has the power to align us with the people who can truly help us or truly speak a word or anything at that moment. So I don't have to go and share with everybody. I don't have to beg and plead with anyone else, or even be frustrated with anyone, or I don't know. I know y'all get me, but like, I can go to God and God alone. And then also just how when we first meet her, like, she's a prominent woman. She handles business. She does things like, you know, she is serving, she is providing for the man of God, Elisha. She's taking care of him. She's not wallowing in this. She's not waiting for a time when this can happen for her. And even though her husband's getting old, there's like so many factors in that day and age with the implications of this. And she keeps moving. She keeps living life. And God has blessed her. They were able to make a room for him. And so I just think it's encouragement, not just for women. We need to make sure this is not just a ladies' message, but just that we can be content, knowing that God is looking out for us. He hears us. It reminds me of Hebrews 4:13 or 16. It says that we can boldly approach the throne of grace in our time of need, in our time of trouble. And I think that after we boldly approach him, we can go boldly doing everything else we need to do in life, because he's a God that hears. He's not a man that he should lie. He is fighting for us on our behalf. He is doing good. He's a good father. And so I just am encouraging, like, if there's any way, like any deep trouble of the soul that is on your heart, anything that you just find yourself continuously talking about, sharing with others, asking others to intercede, and asking others to make a way for, asking others to help it be fulfilled. What if you just be still, be quiet, shut up about it, and just go to God and wait for Him to reveal it to the people who need to know. Wait for Him to reveal it to the people who can truly help you. And when they bring it up, then okay, hey, I can share a little bit more about it. If there's something they can do about it. Because even the sons of the prophets brought it up to Elisha, but there was nothing they could do about it. So he was just like, I know, be quiet. You know, and so can we have some I know, be quiet spirit? Can we have some it is well within us type spirit, you know? So that's it. Title of this message, title of my blog post is going to be called It Is Well. Saying so much while saying so little. Because there's some things that we can say so much when we barely say anything at all. So that's all I got for y'all. Until next time.